Councillor Perks.
Thank you very much, Speaker. I think it's important that we put this issue in some context. And a couple of pieces of context that I want us to think about are scale and priority. In terms of scale, we spend a tremendous amount of time on the floor of this council arguing about $1 million here or $1 million there. Heck, we spend 45 minutes here at a meeting talking about putting in a $10,000 traffic light or stop sign. And certain members of this council get up and say, you have to watch those dollars, you have to watch those dimes. If you don't, you're just throwing away public money, and the public expects better. And yet here we are, just cavalierly on the third day of council with almost no attention paid, blowing $1 billion. $1 billion.
How many zeros is that?
$1 billion is a lot more than I can count to right now, Councillor Karygiannis. What it is, though, is a number in a context of us in this year selling off housing that Toronto Community Housing has. In this year, having a proposal that makes no progress on the backlog of the daycare spaces that we have in the city, that makes no progress in terms of opening new priority centres so that we can actually be delivering services right across the city that get young people out of their laptops and their computers and their devices and out being social and exercising. All of these things are far too expensive. They might only cost $1 million, but they're just far too expensive. So let's just make $1 billion go away. Another piece, though, of that context in terms of where we spend money that I always keep my eye on, are we doing the basics? Are we watching the bottom line? Are we getting the bread and butter of this job right? And one of the places that you look for that to indicate how you're doing with that is our state of good repair backlog. I always look with great interest. Are we just keeping up with making the assets we currently have, the roads, the recreation centres, the libraries? How are we doing with that? And if you look at the overall number for the 10-year capital plan that was just launched, it looks very good. It looks as if we are reducing our state of good repair backlog by 3% over the next 10 years. That's how it looks overall. But if you remove this multi-billion-dollar project, in fact, our backlog is getting worse. Our backlog is getting worse. For example, over the next 10 years, the capital backlog in the TTC will increase by $500 million. In the library area, our capital repair backlog will go up by 250%. You can go through all the different departments. We're falling behind in the rest of the services we have. And why? Because this one project, this single project, which we take as being just as important as recreation and libraries and all of that, sucks all the oxygen, all the money out of the room. And the basic services that people rely on in their neighbourhood and the things that we tell people we care about, like housing, like libraries, like daycares, like local roads, all of that stuff gets worse and worse and worse because no amount of money is too much money to have an elevated expressway in the East End. That also speaks to priority. We are told that we're going to build Toronto, that it's going to get better, that we're investing in the future of Toronto. Well, if the future of Toronto is only for those people who take elevated expressways, we're not doing our job. I'm profoundly disappointed that we can have a report coming saying the cost went up $1 billion. It's going to impact everything else you do, and not one single person here is prepared to do the work to say, you know what? Maybe that's too much money. Maybe we should go back to the less expensive option because we simply can't afford to keep all the other services that Torontonians count on us and go to this hybrid option. It shows that the rhetoric of building the city is far more important than the actual task of building the city. It's disappointing.
Thank you.